The cold wind howled through the towering pines as snowflakes swirled under the darkening sky. Deep within the frozen wilderness, a tiny fox darted between the trees, its breath coming in rapid, visible puffs. Its fur, once a brilliant shade of orange, was now dusted with frost, its legs trembling from exhaustion. But it couldn't stop. Not now. Not when the heavy footsteps behind it grew louder with every second. A pack of wolves was closing in. Their glowing eyes pierced through the shadows, their low growls rumbling like a distant storm. The fox had stumbled upon their hunting ground, and now it was their next target. It weaved between fallen logs and jagged rocks, desperate to escape. But the wolves were faster, stronger, relentless. The fox's tiny heart pounded as it reached a clearing. Before it, the frozen river stretched out like an endless sheet of glass, cracked in places by the biting cold. Behind it, the wolves had fanned out, their sleek bodies moving in deadly unison. There was no escape. The leader of the pack, a massive grey beast with scarred fur, took a step forward, lips curled back in a snarl. Just as the fox braced itself for the end, a deep, thunderous roar shattered the air. The wolves froze. The fox's ears perked up. From the depths of the forest, a shadow emerged, massive, towering, and powerful. A grizzly bear. The wolves hesitated, their hungry eyes shifting between the fox and the giant beast before them. The bear stood tall, its thick fur rippling as it let out another earth-shaking growl. It wasn't here to hunt the fox. It was here to challenge the pack. The wolves knew better than to fight a full-grown grizzly. With reluctant snarls, they backed away, their eyes still locked on the tiny fox. One by one, they retreated into the trees, their forms disappearing into the darkness. The fox remained frozen, unable to believe what had just happened. It had been moments away from certain death, yet now it stood beneath the towering presence of an unlikely savior. The bear lowered its massive head, dark eyes peering down at the trembling fox. It sniffed the air, then turned, lumbering away as if nothing had happened. The fox hesitated, its instinct screaming at it to flee. But something deep inside urged it forward. Without fully understanding why, it took a hesitant step, then another, until it was following the bear into the forest. The journey through the wilderness was silent, the only sounds being the crunch of snow beneath their feet and the distant whisper of the wind. The fox's body ached, but it pushed on, drawn by an inexplicable sense of trust. The bear, despite its monstrous size, moved with a calm, almost purposeful grace. It wasn't just wandering, it was leading. Hours passed before they reached a secluded spot nestled between ancient trees. The bear stopped. Ahead lay a small, rocky den, partially hidden beneath the roots of an old oak. The fox sniffed the air. It smelled familiar. Safe. The bear let out a low grunt and stepped aside, as if presenting it as an offering. The fox hesitated. Why? Why had this creature, a beast known for its strength and solitude, spared its life? Why had it guided it through the wilderness instead of leaving it to fend for itself? The fox looked up at the bear, searching for answers it would never receive. Then, without another sound, the bear turned and disappeared into the snow-covered forest. The fox watched as its massive form melted into the shadows, leaving behind nothing but silence. It curled up inside the den, its small body finally surrendering to exhaustion. The warmth of the shelter wrapped around it like a long-lost memory, and for the first time in what felt like forever, the fox closed its eyes, without fear. As dawn broke over the icy horizon, the fox stretched, feeling something new inside it. It had survived, not just because of its instincts, but because something greater had intervened. Maybe the wild wasn't just about survival. Maybe, in rare moments, there was kindness, even among the fiercest of beasts. With one last glance at the vast, endless forest, the tiny fox disappeared into the trees, carrying with it a story no one would ever believe, but one it would never forget.